I'm Matt Yonke. I'm the precision farming specialist from our Crawfordsville location. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about meter calibrations, why we run them, and what to look for if you're going to look at your own meter and decide whether you want to have it calibrated or not. Getting started, I'm going to start out with a Kinsey finger meter. They've been around forever. Just about everybody's probably farmed with them, at least seen them. Kinsey, John Deere, Precision Planting, they all make one. They're all slightly different. The way that they operate is pretty well the same. So getting started, whenever I get a set in, the first thing I'll look at on these to decide whether it's even worth running them before I rebuild them is right here at the top, just before you get to the brush. There's a little space there I call a rumble strip, and there's actually 3 humps there that aid in singulation. So as your flag comes around with your seed, the pressure going across that causes the singulation action to start. From wear of the seed or on that plate, it'll actually start moving the metal and it'll flatten these off, and you'll end up getting a lot more doubles than if you had a good one. The next thing that I want to check, if there is a problem, if you've got a row that's just one row that's out of whack, I'll actually pull this plate off and press it against a glass or a mirror and check for how flat it is. I've had issues from just about every manufacturer on having backing plates that are out of flat, and if there's a low spot at the top here, it'll cause the same thing as if there's extreme wear. The next thing is the brush. Most people are pretty good about changing their brushes, but they'll look at the brush, it'll look just fine on the outside. All the wear is actually on the inside of that brush. So just looking at it, you'll never know if it's worn out or not. So pull one screw out, you can pop that out. If it's a precision meter, you pull 2 screws out. But my recommendation, if you've got Kinsey meters, just change the brush. It's a $2 brush, and I've got one customer that says you get one opportunity to do planning correct. For $2, that's pretty cheap insurance on doing the best job that you can. The next thing that I'll check if I've got a meter that's running poorly is on the finger sets. On the back side, so you'll have to take your nut off, your castle nut off, and check the back side of this. And from the very end of this flag up, they'll wear a flat spot there, and you want that flat spot to not be any more than 1/4 of an inch. I've seen some that get out 3/8 of an inch, almost 1/2 an inch, and they run all right. The thing to remember with finger meters is variety is king. I've got one set of corn that I keep that the only thing that it runs is a finger meter, just because it runs well with finger meters. I've had guys change their entire order because it wouldn't run to a finger meter. So if you bring them in, be sure to bring us the variety that you're running. Another thing to be cautious of, it doesn't wear a whole lot. I don't change them very often. The belt and the drive sprocket. The belt, you want to check, just roll it over and make sure that all the flats are still there. The drive sprocket will actually start rounding off these cogs. So it'll slip on that belt and you'll end up with what looks like a skip or a jump, but it's just because the drive sprocket's skipping. The next meter I want to talk about is the Case ASM. This meter was out on any 1200 series planters, so 1200 PTs up through any 1245, 55, 65. The first thing that I always check, the thing that seems to make a big difference, is the brush. So this brush holds the plate against the door and creates your vacuum seal. We're plastic on plastic in these meters, so vacuum seal with them is kind of critical. This brush here does need replaced. It's starting to fan out on both ends. The singulators can wear. There's a ring cut in the singulator, and this meter is pretty good about having wear indicators. So there's a ring cut in the singulator that is your wear indicator. So if you get wear up to that ring, The same way with the discs, it's got grooves cut in it. And as this disc wears in, it'll wear a groove around the circumference. And whenever it wears down to that groove, that's when you need to replace the disc. A lot of times they won't make it there because I'll say they're worn out from the back. Right on the very outside of the hole, it'll start to oblong that hole. And it'll affect the way that the seed drops, and you'll get irregular spacing. That's something a lot of people overlook whenever they look at their disc, because the customer said, "Oh yeah, my discs are good." I said, "No, they're not." And your doors are the same way. The triangles that are cut into the doors are your wear indicator. The last one is a VSET meter. VSET meters, we can do aftermarket installs. It's a precision planting meter. They come factory on the 2000 series planter. Really, these meters don't wear. I've got some that have got 10,000, 12,000 acres on them, and I haven't had to touch them. I've run them every other year, and I don't have any issues. The only issue that I do have, and it's been small, they'll crack on this seal for your vacuum just right at the edge, and they're really hard to find. So you got to get in, you got to fold them back. But that seal will crack and it'll cause a vacuum leak. Precision Planting did a study that showed for every % singulation loss causes 1 to 2 bushels loss. So what we're doing here, if I can get a ASM meter from 97% to 99%, 99.5%, I can put 2 to 4 bushel back in your bin at the end of the year. Your finger pickup, I've had some come in that were 90%. Kinsey Spec's 97%. So by me replacing those parts and actually running them with the seed that you bring, I can put a lot of money back in your pocket at the end of the year. So if you have any more questions about running meters, we can run just about everybody's meters. John Deere, Kinsey, Precision, Great Plains, just about everything that I've ever come across I can run on this stand. So if you have any other questions, get a hold of your local precision farming guy from Bain Walker.